I stood in the empty hallway, staring at a dusty portrait that would change everything. There, among the faded faces of former board members, was my mother. Young, confident, and smiling. Everything she stopped being after that year. My name is Lucia, and 12 hours ago, I thought landing a job at Whitney & Brown Advertising was my big break. Now I'm not so sure. The day started normally enough. I walked into the gleaming lobby, wearing my lucky blazer and carrying a portfolio I'd obsessed over for weeks. The receptionist directed me to the 42nd floor, where my new boss waited. Ah, the diversity hire. Marcus Whitney's smile didn't reach his eyes as he looked up from his desk. Have a seat. I kept my face neutral, even as my stomach clenched. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Whitney. Marcus, please. He leaned back, designer watch catching the light. So, HR tells me you graduated top of your class. Impressive. But you know what matters more than grades? Instinct, the ability to read a room. I understand completely. Do you? He cut me off smoothly. Because this isn't college anymore. This is the big leagues. We eat ambitious little fish for breakfast here. The rest of the day was death by 1,000 cuts. Every suggestion I made in the morning briefing was either ignored or credited to Gabriel, Marcus's right-hand man. During lunch, I overheard Marcus telling someone I was just filling a quota. Don't let him get to you, whispered Fiona from PR as we waited for the afternoon strategy session. Marcus does this to every woman who might threaten his spotlight. I'm fine, I said, gripping my laptop tighter. Really? The strategy session went downhill fast. Marcus shot down my campaign concept without even looking at the data. Too safe, he declared. Too basic. This isn't some mommy blog we're selling. It's luxury watches. The demographics actually show. Listen, Lucia. He stood up, towering over the conference table. Let me save you some time. You're not going to make it to the top here. Not with that mindset. Not with those instincts. You want my advice? Transfer to HR. They love people like you. People like you. The words followed me as I packed up my desk that night. Everyone else had gone home hours ago. I was about to leave when I noticed the wall of portraits, dimly lit by security lights. And there she was, Susan Santiago, my mother, standing proud among the board members, wearing that pearl necklace I used to play with as a kid. Before everything fell apart. Before she stopped speaking about her time at Whitney & Brown. Late night, I jumped. Quincy from operations was locking up his office. Just looking at history, I managed. He glanced at the portrait, then at me. Something flickered in his eyes. Recognition. History has a way of repeating itself in this place. Be careful, Lucia. I waited until his footsteps faded before touching the glass over my mother's face. The same mother who used to cry when she thought I was asleep, who burned every award, every portfolio piece from her advertising days. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Early meeting tomorrow. Bring coffee. Black, 2 sugars. Don't screw it up. I looked back at my mother's portrait, at her confident smile, then at my reflection in the glass. Younger, but with the same eyes, the same fire. I won't screw it up, Marcus, I whispered. But you will. I walked out of the building that night with my head held high, heels clicking against marble. Let Marcus think I'm just another diversity hire. Let him underestimate me, because while he was busy looking down on me, he forgot to look behind him, at his own family's secrets, at my mother's ghost, at the daughter who came back to settle old scores. Game on. You're doing that thing again, Fiona said, sliding into the chair beside my desk. That scary quiet thing where you're plotting something. I minimized the spreadsheet I'd been working on. 2 weeks had passed since my first day, and I'd developed a routine. Smile, nod, take notes, and document every single one of Marcus's failures. I'm just being thorough, I said. Right, and I'm just casually reorganizing the entire digital archive. She placed a USB drive on my desk, This one has your mom's name all over it. My hand froze halfway to the drive. How did you… Please, I've worked PR for 3 years. I know every skeleton in this company's closet. She leaned closer, including why Susan Santiago disappeared 15 years ago. The memory hit me like a punch. I was 12, sitting at our kitchen table, watching Mom tear through a stack of papers. They can't just erase me, she'd sobbed. 20 years of work, my whole life. Back in the present, Fiona snapped her fingers. Earth to Lucia. Listen, Marcus is heading to the Chicago office tomorrow. Perfect time to do some digging. I can't risk… Morning, ladies. Gabriel appeared by my cubicle, making us both jump. Lucia, Marcus wants the Jensen presentation by 5. The one due next week. Changed his mind. Says if you're as good as your resume claims, it shouldn't be a problem. He smirked. Need any help? I've got it covered, I said smoothly, though my heart was racing. After he left, Fiona rolled her eyes. God, they're not even subtle anymore. They're trying to break you. Let them try. I pulled up the presentation I'd been secretly working on for days. I'm always prepared. That evening, after delivering the Jensen deck, which Marcus barely glanced at, I stayed late again. The office was different at night, quieter, more honest somehow. I plugged in Fiona's USB drive. Interesting reading material. I nearly fell out of my chair. Veronica Whitney, Marcus's sister and board member, stood in my doorway. Just catching up on old campaigns, I said, trying to close the files. Really? She walked over, high heels silent on the carpet. Because that looks like Project Umbra. Funny how that keeps coming up lately. My mouth went dry. I don't… You're planning something dangerous, Santiago. And I suggest you stop before the company eats you alive, just like it did her. She left me sitting there, shaking, but not from fear, from rage. The next morning, I arrived early. Marcus's office was still dark. Perfect. I needed to check something in his reference files, specifically a campaign from 2008 that had won him his first promotion. Breaking and entering now. I whirled around. Quincy stood in the doorway, coffee in hand. I have authorization to access these files, I said quickly, for the Jensen account. He studied me for a long moment. You look just like her, you know. Same fire, same blind spot. He set his coffee down. The files you want aren't in there. They're in the basement archive. Box 247. My heart stopped. Why are you helping me? Because I was here when it happened, when they buried your mother's work and called it their own. Some of us never forgot. That night I worked late again, but this time in the conference room. Spreadsheets covered the table. Years of campaign data, market trends, and hidden patterns. I was building something bigger than revenge. I was building truth. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Revenge isn't as pretty when you're carrying the knife. W.B. Warren Brown. The retired CEO himself was watching me. I looked at my reflection in the darkened windows. Mum's eyes stared back at me, challenging me to finish what she couldn't. Game on, I whispered again. But this time I wasn't just playing for myself, I was playing for her. Box 247 felt heavier than it should have. Inside, beneath layers of dust and forgotten memos, I found it. A presentation deck labeled Luxury Redefined 2008. My mother's last campaign. I wouldn't open that if I were you. I jumped. Gabriel stood in the archive doorway, arms crossed. Research for the Anderson pitch, I lied smoothly. At 9 p.m., in the basement? He stepped closer. You know what's interesting? I've been reviewing our past campaigns, found some inconsistencies in the attribution records. My pulse quickened. I'm sure there's an explanation. Oh, there is. He picked up a folder. Like how Marcus's breakthrough campaign in 2008 uses the exact same market research as a killed project from 3 months earlier. Your mother's project. The air felt thick. You knew? I suspected, but Marcus is untouchable, or he was. Gabriel's eyes met mine. Until someone started digging. I grabbed the presentation and turned to leave. Lucia, his voice stopped me. Whatever you're planning, make it bulletproof. Back at my desk, I opened the deck with trembling hands. Every slide was brilliant. Innovative concepts, solid data, the kind of work that builds careers, or destroys them. My phone rang. Fiona. Get to the 40th floor now, she hissed. Marcus is presenting the quarterly review early. Tomorrow. What? That's 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Exactly. He's trying to blindside everyone, including you. I looked at my mother's presentation, then at my own work in progress. An idea formed. Fiona, I need access to the main conference room, tonight. Already done. Security thinks you're running focus group recordings. I worked through the night, fueled by coffee and rage. Mum's strategy was flawless. She'd seen trends that were just now becoming relevant. I merged her insights with current data, building something powerful, something true. At 6 a.m., Veronica found me rehearsing. Impressive dedication, she said, making me drop my clicker. Or, impressive desperation. I'm just doing my job. Please. She walked to the window. You think I don't know what happened to Susan? I was there when my father and Warren made the call to bury her work, to protect the company's image. She turned. To protect Marcus. Why are you telling me this? Because history doesn't just repeat itself, Lucia. It evolves. And this time, she smiled thinly, this time might be different. The quarterly review meeting was packed. Marcus stood at the front, confident as ever. Our Q3 performance exceeded expectations, he began, thanks to my innovative approach to... Actually, Gabriel interrupted, I have some questions about those numbers. Marcus faltered. We can discuss details later. Why not now? Gabriel projected a spreadsheet. Specifically about the correlation between our innovative strategies and these market response patterns from 2008. The room tensed. Marcus's face darkened. If you're suggesting... I'm not suggesting anything, Gabriel said smoothly. Just finding it interesting how similar these patterns are to a certain killed campaign. Right, Lucia. Every head turned to me. This wasn't part of my plan, but plans change. I can pull up the original data, I said, standing, from Project Umbra. Marcus went pale. That project was terminated. Was it? I connected my laptop. Or was it just redistributed? The room erupted in whispers. I caught Veronica hiding a smile. Quincy nodded slightly from the back. My phone buzzed again. The truth doesn't care about timing, but karma does. WB. Marcus gripped his presentation remote like a weapon. This is ridiculous. I built this company's creative division. On stolen work, I finished. Should we review the evidence? The silence was deafening. In that moment, looking at Marcus's crumbling facade, I finally understood what Mom meant all those years ago. Sometimes the biggest victories come wrapped in whispers, not applause, and this was just the beginning. Conference room B is yours from 8 p.m., Fiona whispered, sliding a key card across my desk. Security cameras will be maintenance testing for 2 hours. It had been 3 days since the quarterly review disaster. Marcus was on temporary leave, officially for personal reasons. Unofficially, the board was investigating. You're playing with fire, Gabriel said, appearing beside us. Marcus has friends in high places. I'm not playing anything, I replied. I'm preparing for the annual pitch competition. He raised an eyebrow. The one that makes or breaks careers. Bold move. Someone once told me to make it bulletproof. That night, I set up my mock presentation. The conference room felt different after hours, more like a stage than a battlefield. Your slides need work, came a voice from the doorway. Veronica stepped in, heels silent on carpet. The typography is dated. I didn't ask for your help. No, but you need it. She sat down, opened her laptop. Mom always said Susan had vision but lacked polish. Let's fix that. I stared at her. Your mother knew mine. They were friends. Before. She trailed off, focusing on the screen. The kerning here is awful. Fix it. We worked in silence for an hour, refining every detail. Then she stood up. Warren's coming back tomorrow, she said. He wants to meet you. My stomach dropped. Warren Brown, the man who had helped destroy my mother's career. Why? Because history isn't finished with us yet. She walked to the door, paused. Oh, and Lucia, delete the backup files on your home computer. Marcus has friends in IT. The next morning, Warren Brown's presence filled the office like smoke. He moved through the corridors, shaking hands, laughing at old jokes, until he reached my desk. Miss Santiago, he said softly, you've caused quite a stir. I'm just doing my job, sir. Are you? He smiled, but his eyes were sharp. Your mother said the same thing, right before she discovered Project Umbra. My hands froze over the keyboard. What do you know about that? Enough to know you're not the only one who's been waiting years for this moment. He placed a card on my desk. Dinner. Tonight. We need to talk. Later, in the bathroom, Fiona grabbed my arm. You can't go, it's a trap. It's also my only chance to get answers. Or get fired. Or worse. She lowered her voice. Marcus just called Gabriel. They're planning something. Good. I checked my lipstick. Let them plan. The restaurant was expensive, quiet. Warren ordered wine I couldn't pronounce. Your mother was brilliant, he said finally. Too brilliant. She saw patterns nobody wanted exposed. Like fraud. Like survival. He leaned forward. This industry runs on appearances, Lucia, on carefully maintained illusions. Susan threatened that, by telling the truth, by proving that our biggest campaigns were built on lies. He sipped his wine. Marcus didn't steal her work. He buried it to protect his father's legacy, to protect all of us. And now? Now, he smiled sadly. Now you're doing exactly what she did, but better, smarter. My phone buzzed, a text from Gabriel. Marcus accessed your files, all of them. Get back here now. Warren saw my expression change. Ah, it begins. What begins? The real game. He stood, dropped cash on the table. Choose your next moves carefully, Lucia. Not everyone deserves the truth. I raced back to the office. My computer was dark, screen cracked. On my desk lay a single pearl, identical to the ones from my mother's necklace in that old portrait, and pinned beneath it, a note. Like mother, like daughter. Let's see how this ends. M. The game wasn't just beginning, it was evolving, and this time, I wasn't the only player with something to lose. Don't touch anything, Quincy said, examining my broken computer. This wasn't just vandalism, they were looking for something specific. Dawn was breaking over the city. I'd spent the night rebuilding my presentation from backup files, jumping at every shadow. Project Umbra, I said. But why now, after 15 years? Quincy's fingers paused over the keyboard. Because it wasn't just about stolen campaigns. Your mother found something bigger, something in the accounting files. What files? He glanced around the empty office. Follow me. We took the service elevator to the records room. Quincy unlocked a filing cabinet I'd never noticed before. Your mother was an accountant before advertising, he said, pulling out a thick folder. She could read between the numbers, see patterns others missed. Like fraud, like systematic corruption, shell companies, hidden accounts. He spread out documents. Marcus's father was laundering money through fake campaigns. Susan traced it all. My hands shook as I read the papers. Why didn't she go public? Warren threatened to destroy her career, make her unemployable. Quincy's voice hardened. But that wasn't enough for Marcus's father. He wanted her erased completely. Quincy! Gabriel's voice made us both jump. Board meeting in 10. They're asking for you, Lucia. The boardroom was packed. Marcus sat at one end, looking smug. Warren and Veronica at the other. Faces I didn't recognize filled the seats between. Miss Santiago, Warren began, We've received some concerning information about your recent activities. Unauthorized access to confidential files, Marcus cut in. Corporate espionage. Grounds for immediate termination. I stayed silent, thinking of my mother's papers, the hidden accounts, the lies. However, Veronica spoke up, we've also received evidence of other unauthorized activities. She looked directly at Marcus. Dating back 15 years. Marcus's smile faltered. What are you talking about? Project Umbra wasn't just a campaign, was it? I pulled out my phone, opened a file. It was a cover-up. Don't, Warren warned, but I was done being quiet. Funny thing about old accounting records. They leave trails, digital fingerprints, especially when someone's been moving money between shell companies for decades. The room erupted in whispers. Marcus stood up. This is absurd. She's trying to... To what? Gabriel interrupted, passing out folders. Show how certain creative budgets mysteriously doubled. How client payments vanished into offshore accounts. My computer screen suddenly flickered to life, mirrored on the boardroom wall. Files began opening automatically. Financial records, transfer logs, emails. What's happening? Someone gasped. Someone's accessing her system remotely, Quincy said, but his slight smile told me he knew exactly what was happening. The documents kept flowing, years of hidden transactions exposed in seconds. Marcus lunged for the projector controls, but Veronica blocked him. Sit down, brother, she said coldly. It's time we had a family discussion. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. The truth isn't always pretty, but it's always expensive. Mom. I nearly dropped the phone. After 15 years of silence. This meeting is over, Marcus snarled, heading for the door. Actually, Warren stood up. It's just beginning. Security will escort you to your office. Don't touch anything. As Marcus was led out, he stopped beside me. You're just like her, he hissed. Too stupid to know when to stop digging. No, I replied quietly. I'm smarter. I made copies. The boardroom cleared except for Warren, Veronica, and me. My computer screen was still cycling through evidence, years of corruption exposed in pixels and data. Well, Warren sighed, I suppose we should discuss your future with the company. But my phone buzzed again. Mom, don't trust anyone who offers you power. They're just offering you their chains. I looked at Warren's tired face, at Veronica's calculating eyes, at my mother's words. The truth was a luxury brand indeed, and the price was about to go up. The annual pitch competition is cancelled, the email read. My heart sank until I saw the next line. Instead, all submissions will be presented directly to the board, tomorrow. They're rushing it, Fiona said, reading over my shoulder. Trying to control the damage before Marcus's scandal goes public. I closed my laptop. The office was chaos. Reporters calling, employees whispering, security escorting people to HR. Marcus hadn't been seen in days. You're still going through with it, Gabriel asked, joining us. Even after everything. Especially after everything. I stood up. But I need your help, both of you. That night, we commandeered the main conference room. Fiona handled the visuals while Gabriel cross-referenced data. This is bigger than a pitch, he said, reviewing my slides. You're not just selling a campaign, you're exposing an entire system. That's the point. I adjusted the presentation. Truth as a brand strategy, authenticity as market differentiation. They'll fight back, Fiona warned. Hard. Let them. The door opened. Veronica walked in, followed by Warren. Interesting approach, she said, examining our work. Using corruption as a selling point. Not corruption, I corrected. Transformation, real change. Warren picked up my notes. Your mother tried change. Look what happened to her. My mother tried alone. I'm not alone. As if on cue, Quincy entered with a stack of files. Found them. Every fake account, every buried campaign, every stolen idea. Documented. You're really doing this? Warren asked quietly. No, I met his gaze. We're doing this. The next morning, the boardroom was packed. Not just executives, but clients, media, industry leaders. Marcus sat in the back, flanked by lawyers. "Welcome to the annual pitch presentation," Warren announced. "Due to recent new developments, we've modified the format. Miss Santiago, you're first." I walked to the podium, feeling every eye, remembering every dismissive comment, every stolen idea, every late-night plotting revenge. "Today's consumers don't want perfection," I began. "They want truth." The first slide appeared, a split screen of Marcus's stolen campaigns beside my mother's originals. For 15 years, this agency has sold lies, packaged them as luxury, marketed them as exclusivity. I clicked forward. But lies have receipts. Financial records filled the screen, shell companies, hidden transfers, years of fraud exposed in clean corporate graphics. "What is this?" someone demanded. "This is our new direction," I continued. "Complete transparency, real metrics, authentic engagement." More slides, more truth. The room erupted in murmurs. "You can't do this." Marcus stood up. "This is—" "Sit down," Veronica snapped. "Let her finish." I showed them everything. Not just the corruption, but the solution. A complete rebranding, built on accountability and innovation. Real data, real results. "We don't just need new campaigns," I concluded. "We need a new foundation. Starting now." Silence. Then Gabriel started clapping. Fiona joined in, then Quincy. Soon the whole room was applauding, except Marcus and his lawyers. "This is a joke," he snarled. "She's nobody. A diversity hire with a grudge." "Actually," Warren stood up, "she's our new head of strategic innovation, effective immediately." Marcus lunged forward, but security was faster. As they led him out, he turned to me. "You remind me of someone irrelevant," he spat. "I destroyed her too." I smiled. "No, Marcus, she destroyed you. I just finished the job." Later, clearing out my cubicle for my new office, I found another pearl on my desk, but this time, the note was different. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about rebuilding what they broke. V. My phone buzzed. "Mom again. Ready for coffee?" I looked at the message for a long time, then at the portrait wall, where spaces waited for new faces, new stories. "Yes," I typed back, "it's time." The truth was expensive, but freedom, that was priceless. The coffee shop was quiet, tucked away in a corner of the city I'd never visited. I arrived early, hands shaking as I ordered a latte. "Still take it with extra foam?" I turned. Mum stood there, older but somehow exactly as I remembered. Same sharp eyes, same straight posture. "You remember my coffee order?" "I remember everything." She sat down. "Including why you're really at Whitney and Brown." For a moment, neither of us spoke. 15 years of silence hung between us like a wall. "The board meeting is in an hour," I said finally. "The one where they'll decide Marcus's fate. And yours." She pulled out a familiar USB drive. "You'll need this." "How did you—" "Quincy kept everything. Every document, every email. He was waiting for someone brave enough to use it. Or stupid enough," I muttered. "No." She reached across the table, touched my hand. "Strong enough." My phone buzzed. "Fiona. Marcus's lawyers are here. Lots of them." "Go," Mom said. "Finish what I couldn't." The office was a battlefield when I arrived. Lawyers filled the corridors. Reporters crowded the lobby. Gabriel met me at the elevator. "They're trying to claim whistleblower protection," he said. "Marcus is painting himself as the victim. Let him try." I held up the USB drive. "I have something better than claims." The boardroom fell silent as I walked in. Marcus sat with his legal team, looking confident. Warren and Veronica watched from the head of the table. "Before we begin," Marcus's lawyer stood up, "my client wishes to make a statement about corporate harassment and targeted—" "Actually," I interrupted, plugging in the drive, "let's talk about Project Umbra." The full version. The screen lit up with emails. Hundreds of them, dating back 20 years. Marcus's father's voice filled the room through archived audio files. Susan knows too much. Bury everything. Use Marcus's name if you have to. More evidence appeared. Bank statements, offshore accounts. Marcus's signature on documents he'd claimed never existed. This is inadmissible, his lawyer protested. In court, maybe, Veronica said. But this isn't court, this is a board meeting. And I'm not done, I continued, pulling up more files. Every campaign Marcus claimed credit for. Here are the original creators. Every account he said was profitable. Here are the real numbers. The room erupted. Board members demanded explanations. Lawyers huddled with phones. Marcus's face went from confident to ashen. You can't prove, he started. She doesn't have to, a voice called from the door. Mum walked in, pearl necklace gleaming. I already did, 15 years ago. Susan, Warren stood up, you kept copies. No, she smiled. Quincy did, I just kept the key. Marcus lunged for the computer, but security was ready. As they led him out, he turned to me one last time. You think this makes you powerful? He snarled. You're nothing, just like she was nothing. No, I replied calmly. We're everything you tried to erase, and now everyone knows it. The board voted unanimously. Marcus was out. Criminal charges pending. The company would undergo a complete restructuring. We'll need new leadership, Warren announced. Someone who understands both the past and the future. He looked at me. Someone who can rebuild trust. Not alone, I said, looking at Mom. We do this together. Later, cleaning out Marcus's office, I found one last pearl under his desk. But this time, I didn't need the message it carried. I already knew the truth. Revenge wasn't about destroying someone's world. It was about building a better one from the ruins. My phone buzzed. Fiona. Drinks tonight. The whole team wants to celebrate. I looked at Mom, who was examining the old portrait wall. Can't, I texted back. Family dinner. Long overdue. Sometimes the biggest victories aren't announced in boardrooms or headlines. Sometimes they happen quietly, over coffee and forgiveness, between a mother and daughter who finally found their way back to each other. Through truth, through justice, through love. Sign here, the prosecutor said, sliding the statement across his desk. Your testimony will ensure Marcus can't hide behind corporate protection. I picked up the pen, remembering Marcus's last words as security led him out. You'll regret this. Power changes people. Maybe he was right. But not signing would change me more. It's done, I said, pushing the papers back. Outside the courthouse, Mum waited with Fiona and Gabriel. The media frenzy had finally died down, replaced by industry-wide reforms and uncomfortable conversations about corporate culture. Ready for the board meeting? Gabriel asked. Almost. I turned to Mom. But first, we have something to finish. The HR department was empty when we arrived. Quincy met us there, holding a master keycard. The blacklist database, he said, opening a secure terminal. Susan's name is still in it, along with everyone else who tried to speak up. Mum touched the screen gently. 20 years of silenced voices. Not anymore. I started typing, accessing the root directory. One by one, we erased the blacklist entries, restored professional histories, reclaimed stolen legacies. What about Marcus's files? Fiona asked. I paused at his name. Leave them. Let him face the consequences of his own choices. My phone buzzed. Veronica. Warren's asking for you. Says it's important. We found Warren in the conference room, staring at the city skyline. I owe you both an apology, he said without turning. I helped build this broken system, helped silence the truth. You also helped expose it, Mom replied. Too late. He faced us. But you can do better. The board approved your proposal. Complete restructuring. New leadership. New values. New problems, I added. He smiled sadly. Always. Power corrupts, Lucia, even when you think you're using it for good. Then we watch each other, Gabriel said from the doorway. Keep each other honest. The new board meeting felt different, younger faces, more diverse voices, real conversations about change. First order of business, Veronica announced, establishing an ethics committee, independent oversight. Second, I added, reaching out to everyone on that blacklist, offering them their jobs back. Third, Mum stood up, implementing the transparency protocols my daughter designed. No more buried truths. After the meeting, Fiona caught my arm. Marcus's sister called. He wants to meet. No, I removed her hand gently. Some bridges stay burned. That evening, cleaning my new office, I found one last pearl hidden in the desk drawer. But instead of a threatening note, this one had a simple message. Power isn't about control, it's about choice. Choose wisely. V. I added it to my mother's necklace, now restored, pearl by pearl, like the truth itself. Dinner? Mum appeared in the doorway. The team's waiting downstairs. I looked around the office. Once Marcus's sanctuary, now a space for building something better. Actually, I said, I need to do one thing first. We walked to the portrait wall together. The empty spaces waited, ready for new stories. Think we earned our spots? I asked. She squeezed my hand. We earned something better. We earned our voice. My phone buzzed one last time. Warren, remember, revenge may open doors, but integrity keeps them open. I deleted the message. He meant well, but he was wrong. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It wasn't even about justice. It was about tomorrow, about building something stronger than secrets, bigger than betrayal. Ready? Mum asked. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw not the broken woman from my childhood, but the fighter who taught me to stand up, to speak out, to rebuild. Ready, I said. We walked out together, leaving the empty portrait spaces behind. Our legacy wouldn't hang on walls. It would live in every truth told, every voice restored, every wrong made right. And that was better than revenge. That was redemption.